Welcome back to another episode of Black Girls Texting. It's your girl, Sade. Hey, bitches.
It's your girl, Charles Pinky.
I didn't know we were singing and I'm not prepared. It's Glenn. Oh, I kind of sang.
That was melodic.
It was.
Chelsea, why are you in the baño?
Because Glenn wasn't responding to my texts about if we were recording.
It was
so then
in
I
the
told
calendar.
the boys, I know, but you weren't responding to the text. So then I told them there's people at my house. So I was like, oh, chances are we're probably not recording. I'm pretty sure Glenn is pretending to be asleep. Then it turns out that you weren't. So
shade of it all.
So now they went to get wings, and I don't want the wings to get rerouted because I also want wings. So I'm just going to do a quick episode in the bathroom and eat wings.
Cute.
I'm trying to understand why the wings would get rerouted.
Because they would leave the apartment.
Because they would have to leave the apartment.
Like
they got like 20 wings. They wouldn't just leave 20 wings for me.
Rerouted? I don't understand. Okay, I don't know. I'm not following.
She's just saying she doesn't want them to leave and maybe go to like another friend's place, and then the wings won't come to her place.
I see. Okay.
Okay. We're all clear on the wings. What's going on?
She doesn't get it. She's a vegetarian.
I didn't understand that word rerouted. I was like, what is it? The delivery person's not going to come if you don't go in the bathroom?
No, my friends are the delivery people.
I get it now. I'm following. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Even if they weren't, they could have edited the delivery address to another friend's place, which would then be a reroute.
Okay,
correct.
That makes sense too.
But either way, Charles Pinky gets no wings.
No wings.
Right.
Okay. Now, shall we unread or reply?
Commence.
I'll start. So I'm going to reply to, I guess this is my life now. It was another great bridal shower. This one was, I'm especially replying to this one because the games were super creative. And I've been playing like kind of the same games. So this one was cool because it was like creative new games that I hadn't played. So that was cool. Also replying to a new restaurant that my friend actually helped open called Saint Theo's in the West Village. Ate there last night and it was delicious. So
I saw you tagged it and I went to the page and looked fire.
What kind of food is it?
It's so good. We should go. It's Italian. It's supposed to mimic like Venice.
Say less. I'm there.
It looks mad good.
It's so good. So we should go.
I'm very down. I'm like pencil me dead ass pencil me because I'm always ready for Italian.
Yes.
Are you leaving anything on red this week, or you're just a happy camper?
Happy camper over here.
Okay.
Cute. So I'm gonna reply to Love Island. I feel like we've spoken about this before. I don't know if we've ever really gone into it. And Chelsea, I feel like you might like it. You might
try it, but you have to tell me which one to watch.
I don't know. I don't know the season names. Sade is more of a stan than I am. She might be able to recommend one. I know you liked like what was that show where they have like Are You the One? I know you and Jermaine watched Are You the One. I also really like that show.
Wait, is that the one with the pods?
No.
Too Hot. No. Is that
Love Is Blind?
That's Love.
That's Love Is
Are
Blind.
You the One is where they have like a match in the house, but they don't know who it is and they're trying to find their perfect match.
I never watched that.
I thought you said you watched that.
Never heard of this show.
Oh, that show is good as hell. That show is low-key ratchet. You should watch that show. But Love Island is just a bunch of single, and I only watched the one from the UK, not the US one. And they're all trying to find their love, but their loves get thwarted because they bring in other hot people in the middle, and they go to this thing called Casa Amor, where they give them like a whole slew of people to choose from, and everybody's shit gets all messed up. But it's also like really cool to watch like how people move in relationships and dating and how they decide like who they want to choose and like how easily people's what do they say?
Their heads get turned.
Yeah, how easily their heads get turned and when they don't get turned and what they find attractive in partners is very interesting. I really find it to be like a social study.
Do you have like an example?
Well, because every episode, more or less, someone new is coming in.
Right.
So like you might match up with someone and start kind of like getting to know them, but then like someone else might come in who is like physically your type, and then you're like, and then you're still talking to people, and then you're like, oh shit, I realize I like Chelsea more than I like Glenn, and Then
I
my
kind of
head
think
gets
that's the
turned.
problem with our generation, personally.
Right. So
I mean,
there's one I'm
yes.
watching
Like-
right now. This guy came on, started dating this Black girl. Everybody agrees that they love her. She's one of the only Black girls to start the show. Chocolate girl, fine as hell. As the show goes on, she becomes everybody's friend. Everybody talks about how great of a heart she has. She's just what do they call her? She's a rocket. She's a rocket.
They friend zone her.
Pauses a rocket, but they friend zone her like crazy. So he starts off with her, but he's not sure. Then he switches to this other girl who swipes him because they have this like matching ceremony, and the girls can choose sometimes and the boys can choose other times. So this one girl knows that this guy and Kaz are dating, but she's like, I want him.
Is this
And
when she was with
chooses him.
Tobias?
Toby, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, Toby.
That was not real. They were never really gonna do anything.
I know, but whatever. That's how they started. Then this other girl takes him away, and when they choose each other, they have to sleep in the same bed, which is such an interesting thing to look at with like intimacy. These people will
Like a
be
crazy show.
dating for 4 days, and you'll think that they are like about to be married because they spend every waking minute together in bed with one another. It's really crazy.
Chelsea's face.
And they all sleep in the same room together and share beds with each other. So it's like a room of like 30 beds, and they're all in the beds together.
Yeah, this seems like a low budget kind of
No, it's very high budget.
Low
actually.
budget. It's
It-
Love
like they couldn't
Island.
afford different rooms.
No, it's all a part
No,
of the
that's
social
whole
study.
part of
Okay,
it.
just give me a.
I'm trying
you
to
guys
run it
discuss
down.
among yourselves like the season that someone should start with, and then I'll start.
I would start at least from season 3. Season 1 was very ratchet. I didn't even finish it. And season 2 was still a little So at least season 3. But the thing is, like, there's like 60 plus episodes in a season.
It's crazy. But it
This is like
still
a
really
big show in the
interesting.
UK. It comes on every single day.
Yep.
In the
Yep.
UK. I
In
know
the
we have Love
UK.
Island fans out there. So anyone, BGT fam, who is a Love Island stan like us, let us know how you feel. If you are caught up, unlike Glenn, let us know what you feel about the winning couple.
I
and
can't wait.
Have a little kiki.
Yes, it's so good.
What are you leaving on
So I'm leaving
Red?
on Red, this dumbass show, The Activist, which is coming out
Oh.
via CBS, hosted by Usher, Priyanka Chopra, and Julianne Hough, who did Blackface. Correct. The girls have not forgotten.
She said, huh?
So The Activist, the premise of this show is that activists go head to head in challenges to promote their causes, with their success measured via online engagement, social metrics, and the host's input. Very nonsensical to me. Now, I spent a lot of time going through posts that, because the girls are dragging them. And some people said some really interesting things. Someone at Dinah Hunt said, how is this even remotely okay and being celebrated when the money being used for the production for this whole thing could just have been given directly to the work being done? And then also without encouraging unnecessary competition for resources that we already have to face in real life. Someone else, Elodie D. Rover. This is an incredibly damaging concept for a show. Activism isn't a quote unquote game, and when done properly, it's not and shouldn't be performative or something you can win. Beyond that, the idea that activists will be working against each other is so dangerous, upholding the very oppression that they are seeking to fight against. For so many people around the world, it's incredibly risky to even engage in activism, let alone to call yourself an activist, for fear of retribution and repercussions. Measured in engagement and metrics, turning activism into a performative social media support in a glamorous arena, albeit with 3 judges who have no qualifications or credentials in that sphere, undermines everything that true activism should be about and stands for. It's just crazy to me. It's like these tone deaf ass companies, production companies, brands that see some shit and think that like it's a trend to hop on. And following a year of so much activism and uprisings, somebody up in that suite thought this would make a great show. And it just does not. Now, CBS released a statement and they said, and this is in conjunction with Global Citizen, which I did not realize until this moment.
The concert?
Yeah, I think so, because
Okay.
Global Citizen is also like a organization or something. They said the activist spotlights individuals who've made it their life's work to change the world for the better, as well as the incredible and often challenging work they do on the ground in their communities. This is not a reality show to trivialize activism. On the contrary, our aim is to support activists everywhere, show the ingenuity and dedication they put into their work, and amplify their causes to an even wider audience. I really don't even know what that means. That didn't say anything.
Yeah, no. And also, no to the show, but I am also curious to find out if like what my mind tells me would happen, because like I feel like in the struggle Olympics, like Black people are gonna be left in the back. So like I feel like there's gonna be like an animal activist that wins.
Oh yes.
Like everyone loves animals. No one cares about Black people. So let's see who wins. It'll be interesting.
That's such a great point, Chelsea. You're not wrong. You're
Gross.
not wrong.
Gross.
It makes me upset for the people who would be participating in this, thinking that they're going to get some type of like, I don't know, actually. I don't want to judge the people. I'm sure they're doing great things off of this platform. And the fact that they're getting roped into this shit, maybe under the guise that like this is going to give their cause some eyes and amplify their cause, but it's nasty. It's nasty.
It's also interesting that it's like the winner is measured by social media metrics and not like money raised or like, I don't know, signatures on a petition. I don't know.
But see, there's no way to choose a winner when somebody's active, advocating for a cause, because that's saying that somebody's cause is more important than somebody else's cause. And you can't measure that on how many signatures that person got, or how much money they raised.
But you can measure it on likes.
You can't measure it on likes either. I mean, you can't measure it on any of those things.
I was like, what?
Sorry, I meant that part too. The likes thing is interesting because it feels like a direct response to like the way that activism has become performative in this era. So somebody else saw that as like, well, everybody else is posting their shit on Instagram and Twitter. That's how they should that's how we should measure their wins. How much have they spread their message, which is something we've spoken about on past episodes, right? Like in some ways, like we were talking about that whole Black Square thing and how it was hella performative, but then it also like mobilized people, but like not really, maybe mobilized in terms of like the consciousness or like the things that we were collectively talking about, but it doesn't make a difference. Anyway, they're still going through with the show. I thought they were going to cancel the damn thing. It's coming out in like a couple weeks, child.
Hopefully no one watches it.
I know.
And the ratings are just really bad. Don't watch it.
I know. I kind of feel like the ratings will not be bad because I've been seeing it all over social media. So like lots of free press. What about you, Sade? What are you reading and replying?
So for my Unread, if you were living under a rock and you know your social media is just not going crazy, it was New York Fashion Week, ladies and gentlemen, and it's just so like weird to just see this like the pomp and circumstance that goes into this time of the year, which like I love in terms of like the actual like fashion and like all the beautiful outfits, and like it's really fun to see what different designers are working on, but it's really corny to just see like the flexiness of the city that comes out around this time. And I just wish that would stop. Like, I wish these things were more accessible and like fashion didn't feel like this, like in place you have to be to know the know. Like, I just wish it was way more normal. And I don't know how that would happen, since I guess a huge part of it is the celebrity and grandeur of it all. But it's just like you see people and they just feel so corny. I just wish the corniness could just like get cut out. It's like a leper fashion week whackness. And I just want to leave that on red.
Fashion week seemed mixier than ever this year. But I think it's also because in the past, fashion week was this like the fashions, like the editors and all this shit were the ones who went. And it was something that we just kind of watched. And now there's like TikTok celebrities that go.
Yeah, it's influencers.
It's influencer heavy, and you know the influencers are going to post, and then the editors have become influencers as well.
Right.
So it's just this whole thing that's feels like it's more for show than it is about like.
That's a really good point. That's
a
really good point. I feel like in the past you did kind of have this like, yes, editors were the face of like their magazine, and so like you have like an Anna Wintour, but like most people might not know like the beauty editor unless you're kind of like in the industry. And now it's like the beauty editor is the face of this magazine. And they, you know, it's like a whole thing.
Which in a way maybe means that it's becoming more accessible. Like,
I would think it kind of is.
Yeah, because I feel like in the past it was like you kind of had to know and understand fashion and like be a student of fashion to kind of understand what was going on. Whereas now it's like everybody on Instagram is like going to some event.
To something.
Like,
there's something you could go to.
Yeah.
Although
and
I
like,
think, yeah, go ahead, Chelsea.
And like the editors are people that are like on your Instagram. Like they're not like these highfalutin people anymore. So
follow their stories.
That's true. No, that's also true. I guess fine, great, amazing. Let's just like make it not feel so elitist, which I feel like is very hard to do in fashion. And let's also not be so fucking corny. Calm the fuck down. Calm down.
People are so hype. We're still in this fucking pandemic. I feel like people are just hype about Fashion Week, you know, to have some shit to do, some place to go, something to post.
But at least like turn a look. Like shout outs to London Girl NYC Amanda. Like I love her because like she turns looks like shit I have not seen. No shade to some of our favorite brands, but like I keep seeing the same shit, the same bags, the same shoes. Give me the fashions.
The fashions.
So that's what I'm leaving on red. Oh, I'm also gonna really quickly leave birth control on red. I feel like I said this already. I am still pushing my campaign, the Shoot Up the Club campaign, in partnership with Planned Parenthood one day.
Thank you for adding the one day.
Or you know what? Maybe not Planned Parenthood, maybe like a Black owned or something, I don't know, company to get you men vasectomies. So yes, there's that. My insurance is now saying I can only get 1 pack of my pills a month. What the fuck is that?
You only need 1 pack of pills a month.
Every single time.
That means I have to go to the pharmacy every month when my doctor's trying to give me 3 at a time.
Don't go to the pharmacy. Use I'll tell you the capsule. Yeah, they mail it to your house.
Oh,
but you still have to have a meeting with your. Oh yeah, maybe Capsule will let you do the 3 at a time.
I'll try
don't
Capsule,
you use? Don't you go to Tia? You don't have to have a meeting.
Yeah,
her insurance is saying that she has to do that.
You just okay. I don't know your insurance, so I can't speak for it. But
no,
I just DM them or message them, and I'm like, I need more, and they send me more.
But then here's the other thing. Sometimes I'm just not home. Like I would like to be able to get multiple packs. Whatever. That's for me to take weird. Up.
Yeah. No, it's problematic because what if you follow
for you Etna?
What if you travel? I had Etna though. I had Etna.
Yeah.
They always gave me 3 packs. You need to talk to somebody. Well, okay, what are you replying to?
Yeah, because this is not sounding like the amount of insurance that the company I work for is paying. This is some bullshit.
Right, that's ridiculous.
I am replying to, oh my God, Chelsea, get excited. TV shows that I've been watching because I've been inside.
I'm so excited for her.
So I watch shows. Glenn got me on to this show called Caliphate. I highly recommend it. It's so good. It's about these people in Sweden who become like Islamic extremists. And it's like a tie between Sweden and Syria. Fucking fascinating. Highly recommend.
So good.
Money Heist, Casa de Papel, which was just like my OG fave, which I actually always watch. Already finished the damn season. Now Netflix is on some bullshit where they give you half the season now and they're going to do the remainder in December.
Oh,
and I'm vexed. What? And if I have Money Heist fans out there, you know what the fuck they did. And I'm hurting. I'm like, I cried. Like I shed a tear. So tight.
They must have murked somebody. I got to get back into that show.
Niggas left and right. It ain't right. And Jaws over here like, well, oh well. Because he didn't particularly like that character. And I'm like, wow, you're very rude. And then 9 Perfect Strangers, which I started today on Hulu. Nicole Kidman is a weird woman.
Crazy. Freaks me out.
Highly recommend. So yeah, if you watch any of those shows, tell me what you think.
Also a little plug for, well, I haven't seen these yet, but Scenes from a Marriage is coming out on HBO Max tonight. It's based on like I don't even know where this person was from. Some famous ass show that was like a European show called Scenes from a Marriage. Maybe like Dutch or something, and they're remaking it. I think that might be interesting. And you know what just came out on Zeus today? I got the email. Doses of Drea So when this is done, I'm about to see what she's up to.
Y'all are birds.
I love
Why do you want to know
her,
what Drea
low-key.
is doing?
Right. I'm like, I actually don't care,
I
but
do.
I'm gonna watch.
I had to unfollow her because she was starting to annoy me.
I just think she's so cute.
She's
You know,
very
she's
pretty.
a little cutie.
And also, quick plug, I'm rewatching all of the Harry Potters. Those are such great films.
Yeah,
Fuck
they
J.K.
are.
Rowling, but the films are great.
Right, I forgot.
And they're
They
on
are.
HBO Max. They're so good.
They are really good. I actually like remember going to see them in the movies.
Yeah,
I was
same.
like a little Harry Potter nerd.
See, I remember, maybe I was, but I don't think I ever saw like the fourth one, and I'm on the fourth one now, and like it's good.
I got to be overwhelmed by them. They started to just get really
It
complicated.
started to be a lot.
And I just stopped. But yeah.
I love when a show like brings you into another world, and like
Mhm.
the new, like the world that you're in is so thought out. Like there's
Yes.
details, there's like
Mhm.
like
It
I like stuff like that.
operates in a way that like it makes sense. It has its
Right.
own like
It's like a
code.
real
It's
other
a world.
world.
Yeah.
It's like
That's
a
really
thought-
cool.
That's like why people love what are those superhero movies? Marvel. Like that's like it's like
Wait,
a thought out world. Like
Did you watch Clickbait, Chelsea?
Oh yeah, that's the
I've
other one she
watched the
watched.
first 2 episodes and it's not good so far, but everyone's talking about it, so I'll give it another chance. But the first 2 episodes,
I mean, like,
it's not
watch
good.
it if you have nothing else to do. But
That's what I
to
told
me,
you,
Netflix
Sade.
content is like not my favorite. I like HBO if I'm thinking about like acting and like
Netflix got
story.
No, Netflix has some good stuff.
hits.
Their content's okay to me, but
yeah, Clickbait.
You know, it gets you in the middle. You're like, oh, and then it's just like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
I could have got those hours of my time back, to be honest. I was entertained, but I could have got the time back.
Yeah. Okay, ladies. I have a quick hotline bling.
Mm-hmm.
And what it is it's Sunday, but tomorrow is the first Monday in May, but really September. And I want us to have a Met Gala group chat.
Yes.
I'm so excited.
Oh, yes. This will be out after that happens, but
yeah,
likely be doing some content. You likely will have
Definitely.
seen some content, some reviews. The theme is what, Americana or some shit?
yeah.
what does
Mhm.
that mean? I never understand the themes.
It's like
Is it just, like,
celebrating
blue
American
jeans?
designers,
Oh,
what
okay.
Americana means to you.
Okay.
So Virgil said he's gonna be making like an ode to Dipset, like when they went into that Americana world.
They
like,
did do that. Because they really did.
Yeah. Some people are gonna
That's
do
very
like
interesting.
very classic American designers, like your
Tommy Hilfiger.
Ralph
your Ralph
Lauren.
Yeah.
Lauren's. Yeah. So
Marc Jacobs.
potentially, you know, I mean, I feel like it's very open for interpretation this year. So I'm excited to see what people do because I like to see the creativity.
Well, I love Zendaya. Like, so
Yes.
as long as
Yes.
she's there, because literally she always looks perfect. Shout out to Luxury Law.
Oh, Law. Woo.
Literally
Killing
every
it.
single time she looks
Yeah.
great.
I'm
So,
excited to see. I wonder if the city girls are invited. Like, I wonder if all the girls are invited because I want to see what they're going to turn out. I feel
Can't
like
you see this getting racist? Like maybe a few years ago it could have got real racist.
I see a Confederate flag.
I was gonna say I've seen Confederate flags like on like a
yeah.
tattered
Honestly,
jacket.
American flags kind of freak me
Yeah.
out.
I don't want to see that.
Same.
Yeah.
So
but we'll see.
But that's where I think it'll be interesting because we are in this point where I think people are like very much like America girl, what are we doing? And so it's going to be a little bit of like
which is why what an interesting
taking
theme.
jabs.
Hopefully
Yeah.
people use it to make commentary as well.
I think they definitely
Yeah.
will. So
Yeah.
that's our future hotline bling. And you guys can DM us. Maybe I can get my life together and do some posts on social, but I might be so distracted. Who knows?
We're coming live to you from the studio. We're at WTF Media. You know where we be. And if you're watching the videos, it's a little bit because we have these 7-Eleven cups on the table, but the contents of the cups are not ratatatatata. We're working with our friends at Washington Wine. Yet again, we got to taste wines from 2 different brands this month. The first one is called Brooke and Bull, I should say. And they represent varietals and blends that showcase Washington State fruit at its best. And today, what one are we tasting? What's on that one, Sade?
Oh, okay.
The one with the cork. The one with the
Stuck
cork.
behind
baby.
the mic.
Oh, I'm sorry. So we have a Malbec. It's Walla Walla Valley. It's a 2019. And it's lovely.
Yeah, it's so good. I've loved the Brooklyn Bowl. And something cool about the brand is that the owner and winemaker, her name is Ashley Trout. She saw a need for local vineyard and cellar workers to have access to healthcare because many industry jobs do not include a healthcare plan for most of their employees. So they're a 100% nonprofit organization that focuses on providing access to healthcare for vineyard workers. And then we also got some wines from Vladimir Estates. They sent us a Chardonnay and a Malbec. We have a Malbec here today. And we talked to one of their assistant winemakers. Her name is Devyani Isabel Gupta, who shared that all of the people that work for the wine brand on the most top senior levels of management are women and women of color.
Yes.
And we love to hear it.
Love that.
So shout out Washington Wine.
Shout out Washington Wine. Listen, y'all have just been making our lives so lovely, and we love working with you all. But we're going to transition because we have a lovely guest.
Our Black girl doing shit.
Yes. Okay, we literally just talked about your last name, and I'm going to... All right, we're joined by Brooke DeVard Ozaydinli.
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 You know what it is? Because I have created how to pronounce your last name in my brain, and now it's like etched in there. Anywho.
We'll fix it.
Brooke created her Naked Beauty podcast in 2016 to uplift and tell the stories of amazing women in beauty. And listen, Naked Beauty has interviewed over 100 amazing women on their approach to beauty, self-care, skincare, and wellness. The conversations are super unfiltered and they're vulnerable, and Brooke really aims to inspire her listeners with each episode. We've had the honor of talking to you in the past, and we have another episode that we're partnering with you on. But beyond the podcast, Brooke has built a truly engaged and diverse community on her Naked Beauty planet, where she's able to share more of her beauty favorites and spark community dialogue about the beauty industry. And we're just so excited to have you here today. We're going to get into a lot. Chelsea's planned this episode, and she's adamant about getting beyond just beauty and really getting into, I don't even know where to begin.
Into you. I want to know, because I feel like you like share so much of yourself on Instagram, but I just want to, I want to dig a little deeper.
Yeah.
If that's okay. And
I love that.
Okay, good. I'm excited.
I feel like I'm highly opinionated, and I don't, I interview people all the time, but I don't get interviewed that much. So I'm excited.
Oh
my God.
Yeah, when
Well,
Chelsea shared the doc with us, she was like, how do you all feel about this? What do you think? And I was like, this is amazing. And she was like, we're getting to know her. And I was like, okay.
I'm so excited.
All right, let's hop in.
Okay, so I'm just gonna be candid. We talk about everything in our group chat. So something that we talk about a lot is motherhood. None of us are mothers yet.
Okay.
But I follow this page on Instagram for the love of birth.
Okay.
And
what is For the Love of Birth about?
Okay, so I've sent you all videos of women giving birth. I'm surprised. I shouldn't send it to you because I don't want you to flag it.
There's an account that's called like Badass Mother Birther, which is like these very graphic videos of like a baby's head like
coming out,
emerging from the vaginal canal,
and then all the juices coming out.
Everything. Yeah.
Why are you
like
saying
that.
this and like smiling?
Because I think it's so cool.
Yeah,
I do think it's cool.
It's like, what? My vagina can do that?
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And I hope to be able to do that one day, but I'm also like really scared. You read all of the statistics, especially about Black women, and you think if Beyonce almost died, if Serena Williams almost died, that means I can definitely almost die. So like, I'm obsessed with it, but also like very afraid of it.
Totally.
But anyways, we're obsessed with Mavi.
Oh, thank you.
But also, can I ask, how was the process of birth?
Yes. Well, I, like you, was very scared. I would interview mothers on my podcast, and I would be like, so lots of questions. First, like your body changing that much. I think I've been, and I heard you, Chelsea, talking about how you've been, into your weight and weighing yourself. But I think my whole life, I was a size 0, size 2. Yeah, maybe size 2 at the most. Very small person. And it was this idea of like, okay, one, when you have a child, like, you can't like diet. There's no like intermittent fasting. Like you have to eat for your baby. There's no like, oh, I'm going to have like a skinny day and like have like, no, you're eating to nourish child. So I had a lot of concerns about how my body would change. And I would hear all of these things about people's ab walls separating and, which is a reality of childbirth. It's called diastasis recti.
Oh, I've heard of this.
Your ab walls
I didn't know that's what it was.
separate. Yes.
God, it's very sci-fi.
Yeah, but and I heard these
making
stories
space.
about, obviously we all know about stretch marks. We
Yeah.
all know about people that, they like. I heard this thing about someone who would like sex wasn't the same for them because their vaginal walls, just to dive into it at the start of this episode.
Jump in.
Yeah, jump
Right.
in.
So there
please.
was this like physical concern, like I'm going to do this thing to my body and my body's never going to be the same. Right. Because I think there's like snapback culture, which is like this idea that you give birth and your body goes right back to where it was. And then there's like the other extreme of snapback culture, which is like your body is ruined and will never be the same.
Yeah.
Right. And then I heard about your breasts and your breasts deflating from breastfeeding, so all of this stuff. So I was concerned about that. And then I was actually just afraid to give birth and like push a child out of my body. I somehow got into the delusion that I was going to do a natural birth. I took, I took all of these courses on hypnobirthing and like basically like you do all these exercises. And I actually know a lot of people that did natural births and like props to them. Those contractions hit. I was like, hit me with the epidural. I'm ready.
So
Stick
you
it in
went
my
in
back.
thinking you were still going to do it.
I went in. So maybe a month before birth, I was like, I'm going to do it natural. And then like every day that got closer to the delivery date, I was like, I'm open. When
It's getting scary now.
When you feel how heavy this child is inside of you and you're like, okay, the baby has to come out. And like, have you guys seen these? There's like a TikTok trend where like men strap a watermelon to their stomach
Yeah.
or like they wear like a backpack with a watermelon in it and just try to like live for a day. And they're like, I can't do it. Towards the end, it's heavy. You have like an 8-pound child in you, right? It's like it's, you're walking around and you feel it and your back hurts. And so as I got closer, I was like, you know what? I'm open to it. Let's just see how it goes. I'm going to do as long as I can until I need it. And then those contractions hit. I think I was like 4 centimeters dilated. I think you want to be like 10 centimeters dilated for like birth. So like before the halfway point, I was like, I need the epidural. And I felt like it took forever for them to even like come. It was probably like 10 minutes. But I was like, get it
So you were
in.
dying.
It's like the most intense cramps that you've ever felt.
Oh God.
But I will say the thing that really comforted me was like just thinking about life and realizing that like we're all here because people gave birth to us. And so many women for generations have been able to do this, have been able to like give birth, and women are very strong. And I was like, okay, I can do this. This is something I can do. And it's not easy pushing a child out, but it's also not like the worst thing ever. And as for the body changes, I think I just embraced it. Like, I think it was just sort of, once you have a baby, like this like newborn that depends on you for their life, you're not thinking, oh, my stomach's not flat. Like, it's really you sort of have this like pre-pregnancy vanity that just disappears. And you realize that like you have a purpose that's so much bigger than looking a certain way. And like, by the way, like your baby nor your partner, hopefully, doesn't care what size you are or that you're in. Like, you have to wear like disposable like underwear for like weeks after you're bleeding. I mean, it's intense. But if you have a good partner, they're just so in awe of like what you've done. Like, oh my gosh, you like pushed our child out, So
A beautiful child.
Yes, it gives you like this kind of like superhero like dimension where you're like, oh, okay, I
So cool. Oh my God.
built this child inside of me.
Yeah.
Like to term and like push this child out. Like, I grew this person.
Yeah.
And that's just like a level of like power and confidence that I don't know that like a great pair of jeans or like a blowout can give you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also just want to say, because I remember talking to, I'll say it, my sister, who I love very much, and she had a C-section, and she was in labor for like 30 something hours.
Wow.
And then they said the heart rate is slowing down, so we have to do a C-section. And she started bawling because all she wanted to do was be able to push it out, because, that's like the mark of a woman to some people.
Well, and that's such a mistake, because I think like vaginal birth is put on this pedestal and like, why? Like, you just want to do what's best for the child.
Yeah. So I just wanted to shout out the moms who do it that way too.
Yeah. However you do it.
Yeah, but it's amazing. Like, literally, do you feel like a super? Like, I'm looking at you and you were telling that story, and I'm like literally getting goosebumps.
Yeah.
Like, wow, you made a human. That's pretty
Yeah.
crazy.
It's definitely very empowering, I think. And I think when I think about things that are hard or difficult, it's like, okay, you've been through like childbirth, so.
I have a question.
Yes.
I was just talking to the guy I'm seeing about this last night. What is the first day back like?
First
you
day
mean
back.
You're talking about sex?
No.
Yeah, first day back from
No,
what?
sorry.
What?
The first,
Shut it.
sorry, the first, sorry. I should clarify. The first day back with the baby, because we were both talking about like, what is it like when you come home
And you
you're
have
like,
this human.
like what do I do
Yeah.
with
I
you?
can't drop it.
Yeah.
I gotta be scared. Yeah.
First of all, if you gave birth in a hospital or even like some sort of like home birth, some people give birth at home, which that's amazing, like in their bathtub. That's great. For people listening that are moms that have given birth someplace where there are people that work there, they're like angels. Like they teach you how to change a diaper. Like you're there usually for at least one night. Like that's where I learned how to change a diaper
That's so cool.
from the nurses at Lenox Hill, you know? And they're like, this is how you burp the baby. A lactation consultant comes in and they show you, okay, this is how you latch. This is how you breastfeed your baby. There's a lot of education that happens in those like first 2 days, like hands-on education. That's like really beautiful. They teach you how to swaddle a baby, which is like honestly hard. So there's like a lot of learning, and then they give you your child and you sort of feel like, okay, like this, it's like it's on me now. Like
Right.
you're a little nervous. A lot of people that, you know, have money and access will hire a baby nurse. I certainly know lots of people that did that. I did not do that. I was like, you know, my husband and I will figure it out. And you're Googling and you're like, is this normal? And am I holding the baby right? And,
Right.
But you know, the thing also about newborns is like they sleep a lot. I spend a lot of time sleeping. So it's just like you have to keep them fed. And breastfeeding is very difficult. And I had lots of questions. I remember the first time I had to give him formula, like early on, I was like devastated.
Yeah.
Devastated. It felt like such a failure.
Yeah.
But like when he had that bottle, he was so happy because he was like, whatever breastfeeding like arrangement you had, like it wasn't enough for me. And
Right.
like this formula is giving me life. So like, thank you. I can like calm down now. And I was like, oh. And then I worked with a lactation consultant to like, you know, figure out the breastfeeding thing. So it's a lot of emotion. It's just a lot those first few weeks. But it's like you leave the hospital and you're like, okay, training wheels are off.
you are.
Right.
Here you
now
are
I
with your baby.
have a human to take care of. Also,
Exactly.
you mentioned breastfeeding, and I know you love beauty.
Yes.
I have a good beauty tip for you.
Tell me.
So you know how when your breasts, okay,
I heard
so you
something
know how
about
when
the
your
milk.
breasts get like chapped from all the
Oh,
breastfeeding,
yeah,
and
yeah,
there's
yeah.
like a
The
nipple cream.
Yeah.
So you can use the nipple cream as like a lip mask at
Oh,
night.
yeah, definitely.
It has the same texture as the Laneige.
Lanolin. It has lanolin in it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You
I bought it $8 on Amazon.
Wait, you
yes,
did it?
I put nipple cream on my lips every night.
Oh my gosh.
Oh
Which
my
brand?
God.
Do you use
Soft?
Earth Mama?
It's a purple bottle.
Oh, purple bottle.
I'll get the brand and I'll
Is it
send it to you.
Lamisil?
I have no idea.
Okay. Yeah,
Nipple
Out here putting nipple
cream.
cream on her lips.
I told you guys about the nipple cream.
No,
Yeah,
I
nipple
I
cream
don't
is
recall
great.
that. Really?
Yeah, it's great.
Have you
Very
ever put it on your
nourishing.
lips?
Oh, definitely.
Okay, so I thought I was giving you
no,
tips.
no, no.
Chapped, like chapped.
Yeah.
It's great. It's like a
chapped,
lip
lips
mask.
chapped.
Yeah.
Smart.
I'm highly considering getting a breast reduction, and
What cup size are you?
I am an H.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's so interesting when I hear women with large breasts have this discussion because I, my whole life, was like an A cup. Maybe a small B. Maybe. Then you get pregnant, your boobs get a little bigger. Then you're breastfeeding and your boobs get like huge.
Yeah.
And I would look in the mirror and I was like, this is it. Like I
I
literally
made
want
it.
breast
Yeah.
implants because like having like a full CD is like, especially if you've been flat chested your whole life, it's like such a vibe. You're like, oh my God. I'll show you guys pictures after this, like the way my boobs were. Now they've like shrunk back
Yeah.
to not their glory that they were when I was breastfeeding. But it's so interesting for me to hear from people that have been blessed with natural acids that
blessed.
want to reduce.
Ungrateful.
Too blessed. No, so I have a very small torso, so I'm like a 30H. I want to go
Low-key a
down.
flex.
Right.
I've got such a small little waist,
Yeah.
and I'm an H. So
No, they're too big. They're too big. I want to go down to like a full C, maybe a D.
Okay.
But the thing is, the route that I'll have to take is I feel like this is for all reductions, but I know particularly with this like anchor thing that they do, they have to move the nipple. So the nipple has to like come up. And with that, you can lose like sensitivity and also like potential to breastfeed. And that is like my biggest kind of like concern. Like
You didn't even tell me
Just
the
wait.
breastfeed part. You
Just
were
wait.
like, sensitivity, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
I love getting my titties sucked.
I'm particular about the sensitivity, but also like me and my mom talk about it. I'm not like, yeah, mom, my nipple's getting sucked. We talk about like being
Oh my
able
gosh.
to breastfeed.
You guys are turning me red because I feel like Brooke is like my big sister in my head who's very classy. And you guys are over here talking about titties sucking.
I know. When I said it, I was like, oh my God, I
all-
shouldn't have said that. I felt it.
When I interviewed Wheezy from Horrible Decisions, she was like, for very vanilla people like you. And I'm like, is this the vibe that I give off?
You give off very like classy, which is great.
You can be classy and nasty.
Okay. Anyways, Miss Titty Suck girl.
Sorry, just on your point on reductions, I know several women that have breast implants. I don't know if that's the same as a reduction, and they've been able to breastfeed very successfully.
I've watched about 20 YouTube videos.
Yes.
And they're leaning more towards being able to breastfeed. But I mean, here's the thing, like you could even have difficulty breastfeeding without doing a reduction. So it's kind of like
100%.
up in the air. But
100%.
I definitely like fantasize, I think, about like, especially having such big breasts, like
Breastfeeding.
Oh,
Your child
yeah.
will love those.
Yeah, I mean, but also there's no correlation between breast size and milk supply.
Of course.
But that's a lot of people think that, and a lot of people milk supply is just like such a sensitive issue. It's like how much you can pump and how much you have. It's like this whole weird thing in the mom community that you don't learn about until you like become a mom, and it's a very like tense, fraught thing, breastfeeding. Which is why I love this new ethos around like fed is best. Like I think for a long time it was like breast is best. You want to breastfeed for as long as possible because that's the best thing for which is great if you can breastfeed. I loved my breastfeeding journey. I breastfed for about a year. It's a long time.
That's a long time.
Yes, some people breastfeed for 2 years. Some people breastfeed for 5 years. All that matters is that your baby is fed. That's really all that matters.
I still remember my mom's breast milk.
How old were you?
I think I was either 3 or 4, but I remember being able to speak, and I asked for it, and she was like, "Okay, this is enough."
What?
I don't know if you're cut off.
I remember being like, "Can I have some?"
Oh my
and she was
gosh.
like, "No."
Do you look back at that time like fondly?
Yeah, like yes, and like sometimes even though. Yes, I like sit in my mom's chest sometimes. Yeah,
Because I was gonna say, it makes me wonder if you in that moment were like, "Oh, I really need this like nourishing thing that I need," or if it
I
was
just, like,
like that
snuggle her.
connection, comfort thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever tried breast milk? And then we'll stop
No.
talking about this.
Well, I'm saying I kind of remember the taste of it.
It's
But
like a little
outside
sweet.
of that.
No,
I mean,
Have you had to taste your own to like check it out or something? Yeah.
I've like tasted. I mean, I haven't like had like a cupful. Like I've tasted it on my finger.
cup of Joe and
Yeah.
a little, a little
I had a
breast
friend who
milk.
was definitely like, you can try it. And I was like, I'm okay.
You did it? Oh.
Yeah, it's also like a kink for people. Some people are like into.
I could definitely see like the dad being like, "Okay, it's my turn, mama."
I would hate that. I would hate everything about that.
I did not have enough milk supply to go
To
around
spare?
like
Right,
that.
it was like,
It's
we're
like,
not
whoa.
Right.
Yeah.
No.
Games with this gold.
Yes, this liquid gold.
Okay, did having a baby bring you and your hubby closer? Because I have heard from moms, like when I talk about how my womb is like thumping when I see a baby, they're like, "Relax, enjoy your relationship. It's not time yet."
Definitely. I think it's so interesting. A child is like the product of love, right? So it's like you and this person you love create something together, and then you love that new person you've created more than you even love each other. You know, I mean, it's kind of hard to say who I love more, right? It's like there's no like ranking.
Yeah.
But it's definitely such a bonding experience. It's such a beautiful experience. But I could also imagine if you're not with the right person, it like when people talk about having a baby to fix a relationship, I'm like, yikes, how? Because it's like all hands on deck. There's like a lot of communication that needs to happen. I feel like if your relationship wasn't healthy, a baby would be like the worst thing you could do to introduce into your relationship.
Yeah, that makes sense. What about, we talked about this earlier, raising a kid in New York. So we're all New Yorkers. Yes. Do you have any thoughts, concerns? Are there any things that you're thinking about? Mavi's going to be in the streets of New York.
Well, so we may move to LA, which will be interesting because I'm like such a New Yorker.
Yeah, that's even more interesting. You're going to have an LA kid.
I know. And I'm like,
Do you know how to have an LA kid?
is he going to like want to be like a TikToker? And I'm going to be like,
Right.
no. He'll be like,
Go
Mom,
live
I
in
want
the
to be a
hype house."
creator. I want to be a creator. I have like 700,000 followers. That would be, but like whatever he wants to do, I support within reason. LA is interesting. I don't know if we'll move back to New York. Right now, it's just like a space issue. I don't know if you guys have ever looked at like LA real estate. When you look at what you can afford in LA with your New York budget, you're like, oh, a backyard and a pool and a view, and it's like very different. But also like we don't have a place yet. So for now, we're in New York. I'm I worry about diversity, definitely. I think about the school I went to. I was the first Black girl at Spence. Like when I
You were
joined,
the first.
You were the
Black girl?
first?
not like ever in the history, but in
Oh.
my grade.
That's still crazy.
Yeah, I joined in 5th grade. There was one other Black girl that joined with me. Shout out to Misha. It was just her and I. And
Wow.
we were the first 2 Black girls in the entire grade joining in 5th grade. And like, that's not a great experience.
Yeah.
And when I think about private schools in New York, I would worry about that for him. Like, I wouldn't want him to have that experience. I think it's gotten much, much better. Much, much better. I graduated high school in 2007, so I think it's gotten much better now. But I still don't think the private schools in New York are all that diverse.
Yeah, my niece is going to a private school tomorrow, her first day of middle school. And like, I'm really happy for her, but also very nervous. Also, you have a son, and I in my experience, the private school experience is very different for a Black girl than it is for a Black boy. Like, I feel like a Black boy or a boy of color is like kind of cool.
Right.
Like, he's like, all the girls want him. Whereas like Black girls, it was like you were just like a freak.
Totally. We had a talk with some girls from
My high
your
school.
high school, and they were all saying that.
Like, none of the Black boys liked them. And
Oh, wow.
That actually made me think about in how your son might identify, if you've thought about that, and maybe conversations you've had with your husband. He's Turkish,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And comes from a very like robust culture. So I'm
Yes.
sure maybe you've thought about Mavi embracing like both parts of him.
Oh, absolutely. We spent this summer in Turkey, and like, I want him to spend all of his summers in Turkey. I don't want him to be like, do you guys watch the show Rami? I love that
I love
show.
Rami. It's like
I need
one
to
of my
watch
favorite
Rami.
shows.
I love Rami. So
Yeah.
for people that are listening, Rami is Egyptian, but very removed, right, from
Yeah.
his like actual. He's Egyptian, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
we'll Google it.
We'll fact
think so.
check. We're
Okay. I
getting
can do a
on.
check.
Yes.
Okay.
But there's like this episode where he like goes back home, and it's this thing where he's like, I haven't been here a long time, and I don't fully speak the language, and like, I don't want that to be Mavi's experience. I want him to like grow up going to Turkey often and like knowing his Turkish family and like speaking the language. So my husband speaks to him in Turkish, and we want to make sure that he spends ample time there to like understand the culture. But it's also interesting because it's my husband's like first like. Me nor my husband will totally understand his experience because he's going to be half Black and half Turkish. So like,
Yeah.
that's not something either of us know. Like, I know what it's like to be Black. He knows what it's like to be Turkish. So it'll be like navigating something. And I think all mixed race children have this unique thing where they have a totally different experience from both of their parents.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like, I'm Black and my parents are Black. So like, we can talk about the Black experience. So I want him to just, my whole thing is like, I want him to feel comfortable in any setting. I want him to feel comfortable if he's around all Black people. I want him to feel comfortable if he's around all Turkish people. I want him to be like himself and like understand where he comes from.
I love that. And that's like, I feel like that's such an interesting point because I don't know if I ever told you guys, but my cousin he's not biracial, but my family's very like mixed up. So he definitely doesn't look Black, but he went to Howard because he wanted to be around Black people. He grew up in a white neighborhood in New Jersey, and he said that they didn't accept him. And it was like a very interesting experience because I feel like a lot of times we talk about like Black people in white spaces, but also thinking about Black people, but like maybe not
Yeah,
an
I mean,
obvious
that's a
Black
good
in Black
point.
spaces.
That's why I did a semester at Spelman. I was like,
Oh my God.
I need this experience. of
How
being
was
around
that?
All Black women. It was so lit. Like, have you guys spent time Spelman, Morehouse, Clark?
Yes.
We need to go to
Happened.
homecoming.
Yeah, we do. I went to Howard, and I
Okay.
did it like an alternative spring break.
So you get it.
There,
You get it.
the CAU or
AUC.
AUC, I mean.
Yeah. AUC.
Wild. Mad
It's-
fun.
Did I go to class? Like, I mean, I did. But like, it was like party every day of the week, and you
Yeah.
just meet so many different types of Black people. It was such a great experience for me.
Yeah.
My mom went to Spelman, and she was like homecoming queen. Like, she's like hardcore Spelman. She
Ooh.
wanted me to go to Spelman so badly. When I got into Stanford, one of the selling points is Stanford has had this exchange program with Spelman and Morehouse for like 50 years.
Oh, that's
That's
cool.
so cool.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, I'll go to Stanford and then I'll do a semester at Spelman. So I'll get like the best of both worlds. And it was just so much fun. I'm still like good friends with people I went to Spelman with. It was
That's
just
so amazing. I love
so
that.
I didn't know that at all.
Me
So
neither.
for
That's a great
our-
selling point.
Yeah.
You know, I try not to have you high schoolers or, young people listening
Listening.
to this, but at the same
But they
time,
do.
like, that's such an awesome experience.
Yeah.
Or, like, if any of you guys know people that could be something they could do, that's amazing. I had no
Yeah.
idea.
yeah.
Yeah. Do you know if Issa Rae, because she also went to Stanford, do you know if she
did.
did that program?
I don't know if she did that program. She was like a few years old. I think she was a senior when I was a freshman. I definitely knew of her and Awkward Black Girl and like I stand.
Was she doing
She was
that
already
at
making that
Stanford?
when she was in school.
She was doing stuff like making content and stuff.
That's
I think
so
Awkward
cool.
Black Girl started like maybe right after she graduated, but like yeah. And you know what's so weird? People tell me I look like her. Do you guys think so?
Okay, you know what? I've been thinking about this when we started talking about Issa Rae. I think it's because you both have like the cheekbones.
And
Okay.
it's like a not East African look, but
That's what I was thinking.
okay.
Kind of.
I think you and her
I'm
both have that.
Ethiopian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, girl.
I can even see like
Issa
Indian.
Rae.
I don't see Issa Rae, but I see like same region.
Maybe.
Yeah,
I have a question for
Cousins.
you guys. As Black women, who are the people that people say you look like? Because I feel like, is it ever really right?
No, and it's annoying. Like
Who
I
do
get
people say you
nervous
look
when
like?
people say, "You know who you look like?" I'm like, "Fuck,
Oh my
what
God.
are you
Give it to
gonna
me.
say?"
Yeah. Who do people
So
say?
I
you
love
most?
when people say things like Sade.
Ah.
I don't see it.
I can see it. I can see it.
That's my middle name because my dad had a dream that his daughter was going to be hairy and look like Sade.
Harry too.
I love the Harry.
I get Sade, I get Melanie Fiona, and I get
Fiona.
when I was little, not when I was little, but when Cassie was hot, someone said that to me, and I know I don't look like her.
But you never let
But I
that
was
go.
like,
Yeah.
oh, I look like
ride that wave.
Cassie.
I would
Yeah,
definitely ride that
yeah.
wave.
You should ride that wave.
Yeah.
I don't really get people. When I was younger, people would say I look like Sierra, which I don't see at all. But people always are like, "Are you Indian?" Or like, I get Ethiopian, Eritrean, like that region all the time. Kind of like, I think it's the eyes. It's the large eyes. But yeah, I haven't gotten coined for anyone very often. It's more so people are just very curious about my ethnic background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People always tell me I look like their cousin or their
That's
somebody. Literally, like, you look just like, you got people in South Carolina. You wouldn't believe it. Like, I get that
This voice
all
blend.
the time. Literally all the time.
That is
And when I was
hilarious.
growing up, people used to say I looked like Keisha Cole for some reason.
Keisha Cole. I don't see it.
I can
but
see it. Your eyes.
squint.
Your
I
eyes.
can see
Your
it.
eyes. It's like cousins. I mean, we're all cousins at the end of the day.
This is true.
But speaking of Issa Rae, speaking of Stanford,
Yes.
she recently got married.
Yes.
And everyone online was
Popped up married.
popped up married, exactly what I was going to ask. Because everyone online is like, don't show your boo, pop up married. How do you feel about that? Because we see a lot of your, I don't know if I was following you before you guys were married, but we see a lot of, you know, your life. I see a lot of other people that I follow, their life, their partner. How do you feel about that? Should you pop up married?
Only if you want to. If you want to show every person you're hooking up with each weekend, go off. Like, I think you should do what you want and what feels natural and good to you. I got married very young, like freakishly young. Like, I was engaged when I was like 23.
I was going to ask about
is
that. So would you
Wait, I
advise
have a
that?
question.
Tell us about that experience.
For me, it worked. I think, like we talked earlier about growing up in New York City. Like, I had dated a lot by the
Like,
time
I'm done.
Yeah. And I felt ready. It was right for me. Now, if you've only had like, I don't know, one boyfriend, like maybe 23 is too young for you. So I think it's very personal. I've always felt much older than my age. My husband's 11 years older than me. So it like works for me. I don't know. It's like it's hard to like go back in time and think like, would I like share photos and like share things? I think if it felt right and it felt natural, then yes.
Yeah.
Did you see the tweet? Oh, I'm sorry, Glenn.
No, go ahead.
There's this tweet that's been going around like, I love it here. Like, y'all just starting to give me little clips of your man.
Yeah.
First I get a fingernail, then
Yeah.
I get a full hand, then I get an arm. And I think it's kind of funny. I think like
I'm
that
rolling my
culture
eyes.
is like fascinating and it's interesting. But the thing is, to each his own. I don't think do it because you have some paranoia that like someone's gonna come and steal your man or something weird like that. But like if you wanna kind of like slowly, you know, do like a man reveal for the interwebs.
But is your man a marketing tool?
You've been posting your man a lot more. I've been like,
Because
good
he's
for
my man.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
saw you guys at the US Open looking very cute.
Yeah.
oh, thank you. And also, like, I will say I don't tag him. I'll say that.
Because you don't want people in his DMs.
I don't want people in his DMs. He's already getting people in his DMs, and he's so not a social media type person. But one of my best friends, Bernard James, shout out to him. He threw a big party, and my boyfriend went. He posted a picture, tagged my boyfriend, and all these girls were saying crazy things like, "Oh, his fingernails are clean. That's the type of man I need. Why are you zooming into his fingernails?" It was very strange.
down.
So
Women do these things.
I don't. He's taken. Everyone knows that.
They know. Did these women know he's taken?
Yes, they've seen me at Dumbo House with this man.
Okay,
every
now
day,
that's
all
messy.
day.
That's different.
sus.
That's messy.
They know, but I don't know. I think it's weird. I think if you're like living with someone, if you're in a serious relationship, how do you hide that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I think is different. I'm
Unless
talking
you're
about the
using it as a
ladies who are,
marketing
like,
tool.
They're starting to date. And
Yes,
they're
I don't-
starting
yes.
to, yeah.
Even if it's someone that you're just with for the weekend, if you feel compelled to share that, like, go off. I think that there's this weird thing happening on social media where people have this like inflated sense of, okay, here, I'll explain it this way. Have you ever watched someone else go through Instagram stories? They're going like this.
Yep.
Click, click, click,
Yep.
click, click,
Yeah.
click, click,
Yep.
click. No
They're
one's
not
stopped.
watching.
Click, 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 next, you know? And I think people, they'll upload something, they'll listen to what's in the background, they'll zoom in on this, and like they think that everyone's looking at them with this like really intense critical lens. And most people aren't like clocking your life like that.
Yes.
Like
I
99.
look at stories close.
Okay, hold on. Yes and no.
You're
Yeah,
cuckoo.
can I
I
need to give you an
do.
example of
Okay.
people being weird. I have literally had someone DM me a screenshot of me and a guy I'm seeing in the pool together.
Okay.
And say, looks like you are having a hot girl summer.
And this was in somebody else's story.
And I think
and
it
they
was
just
in-
happened to be in the background.
It was either in
But
someone
that was
else's-
your friend.
It was either someone else's story or I'm like,
No.
was someone taking a picture of me?
Somebody
Okay,
was posing
so-
and you were in the background.
Okay, so I'll take that back. So, okay, I have, and we said we would talk about this later. I have people that like are very over familiar with me, and they think because I share everything online that they like are in my life. So yes, some people are that way, but I'd say that's the extreme minority.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right? Like out of every 100 people, maybe there's like one person like that, which is like 1% of your audience.
Yeah.
This is true. But I also think you have like a bigger presence and it's like a wide range of like people that like know you actually and like think they know you. Whereas like, have you ever, I feel like I have this all the time where people are like, Sade, you live in Mexico. And it's like, because you just see when I post when I'm in Mexico, but like I actually am not there. It's like very strange, like
Yeah.
how people perceive you. So I think, at least for someone like me, I feel like I'm going to be a little more like subtle. People have already picked up like, oh yeah, you're seeing that guy who you're in with Mexico. I was like, what the fuck? Like how?
Don't you guys
Yeah.
also think that's because we're podcasters? I think there's something about like we're in people's ears, right? So there are people
Yeah.
that are listening to this now that listen to you guys week after week and have been doing so for years now, right? So
Yeah.
like they do know you. It's not that they think they know you.
It's true.
They know you.
Yeah.
That's an
You
interesting
can put two
point.
and two together very quickly.
I also want to ask about that because you share a lot on Instagram, but it's not like it doesn't feel like I know everything about you, but like you're so mysterious in some ways, but like it's a lot. Like how do you pick what you're sharing on Instagram, what you're keeping private?
I would say that the people that probably like know me best that I don't actually know in real life are people that listen to my podcast, right? Because that's every week. I've been doing it for 5 years, and I talk about very like personal things on my podcast. So I'd say my podcast is like the deepest level of intimacy, and I think there is just something so intimate about the podcast medium. I think about I listen to the Read every week, and I have done for 7 years.
Wow.
Like Kid Fury and Crystal, like I like in my head, like I know
your
them.
friends.
Like I
Yeah.
see something and I'm like, oh, I know how they would react to it, right?
Yeah.
Because I've been listening to it.
Break up with him.
Right,
Right.
break up with him, sis. Like I've been listening to them for so long that I feel like I know them. And I think that there's something about the podcasting medium which I'm so attracted to, which is like just this like feeling of like you get to know someone by hearing them speak over and over again. So
Yeah.
there's that. And then I think, you know, Instagram is great. Social media in general is great. It's a visual medium. So there's an added layer of like you can show your life. I don't think deeply about what I share. I just share.
Yeah.
Maybe I should think more critically about it.
I love your IG.
Yeah.
Do you ever, as a podcaster, feel like you have to be mindful of what you are saying? Like whether it's like an opinion or like
Because I literally just had a thought.
how deeply you go into a topic or like how is that? Because like you do share a lot on your podcast as well. So like how do you kind of pick and choose?
I feel like I can talk about anything on my podcast because there's context there. I was just having this discussion about fillers, and even though I did my under eye filler, it wasn't something that I ever wanted to show on Instagram because I feel like it was this thing where people would just see a snippet of it
Yeah.
and just see like the needle going in and just think like, I rather sit across from my doctor and talk about the process, what you should look for, like have a fully informed discussion about getting under eye filler than just like show it, because then I think that makes people like feel like, okay, now I need to do it, and like, oh, she's doing it, and like, what else is she injecting into her face, and then it becomes this whole thing.
Right.
So there are things like that where I think sometimes the visual without context can actually be harmful when it comes to like beauty discussions. And then just in general, beyond my podcast, I have had the great experience of, when is this coming out? Soon or?
Soon-ish.
Okay, soonish. Right now, we are living in like the week that Donda and CLB have come out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Certified Lover Boy. And I have had the experience of literally so many people coming at me in DMs that I actually got so annoyed.
Because you were posting that you were listening to them?
Yeah. Is it okay for me to just talk about this
Yes.
topic that's
Talk
not
about it.
outlined at all?
This is the group chat.
Literally, okay. First, so I guess within the same day, I happened to get a new package from Skims. And my friend Tahira wrote this story that said like Kim Kardashian like personally offends me, but I wear Skims, and I like shared that story because I was like, I can relate. And then that same again, this is last weekend.
You said I remember this. You were like, but Kim does not personally offend me.
Yes, and even that was an issue because people were like, of course Kim doesn't offend you because anyway. Someone was like, "You're like a Jack and Jill Black. You're a Jack and Jill Black person.
We're gonna
You're
get into
not a
it.
Wait,
because
we're gonna
we're
get
gonna
to
talk
it.
not
about
a real
it.
black
Okay.
person." And
Somebody
I was like, wow.
wrote that to you?
That's
Oh,
wild.
yeah.
Like
Oh,
not even
guys.
anonymous.
No, I don't like. Of course, it's like a
Like a
private
troll
account.
page?
Oh, okay.
I don't
my
know.
God.
But people
Very
were coming at
bold.
me left and right. Then enter the white women in my DMs being like, my heart is broken. I was like, what? The fact that you're sharing this like Donda album, like Kanye worked with an abuser on this album. And like, if you care about women or like the survivors of sexual abuse at all, you would never, ever listen to this album. Right. So in background for people that don't know, Marilyn Manson is on a song, Jail Part 2, a song that I always skip. Not that it really means anything because it's a drop in the bucket. DaBaby is also on that song. People were like, he worked with like a known homophobe. Okay. So what I have to say to the white people in my DM saying it's shameful that you're listening to Donda. If you're a hip hop fan, you live in a space of nuance. Like I am a hip hop fan. Tupac literally served jail time for rape.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
He absolutely did.
I didn't know that either.
Yes. Now, that doesn't make it okay, of course.
Right,
But if I put changes on my Instagram story, no one would be like, you're canceled.
Right.
But because Kanye West did it, and I don't think it's right that Kanye West did it, he was trying to have this like grand narrative about redemption and
Right.
faulty narrative. You shouldn't have worked with this man. It's not a good look.
Yeah.
But as a hip hop fan, you're going to have to contend with some people that aren't 100%. I mean, Elvis Presley, married like a 14-year-old. David Bowie was like having sex with teenagers. If you're going to play this like game of like, oh, this person has done things that are wrong, you better see that all the way
That
through.
same energy.
And
That's
does it
true.
feel weird when it's white women pointing out things about black men?
Yes. Well, and to add a layer to that, coming to a black woman. So I was talking to Christy Rutherford about this, and she said when white women come in my DMs, her response is, you need to sit and think about what it was that made you feel comfortable coming to me with this. Because there's a lot of policing going on, right? It's like, okay, you felt the need to go out of your way to police me for what I'm doing. And I personally don't think you were going to listen to Kanye West anyway. You weren't going to listen anyway, right? So, and it just becomes this whole thing where it's like, if you're going to like cancel someone because they've worked with someone that's problematic, you're going to have to like really reevaluate, like even going into the Metropolitan Museum of Art, like period.
Shit. And keep that same energy with your white counterparts. Like,
Exactly. Are you talking to the white men in your life
right.
that are like, I don't know, working at very problematic companies? You're probably not. And to the point about people saying I was canceled for wearing Skims. Okay.
That's so wild.
Wild.
I feel like all the girls are talking about how they wear Skims.
Well,
It's interesting.
this
People
girl,
have an expectation of you.
this girl was not allowed to wear Skims
Yeah.
in peace. Of course, what Kim has done in terms of mimicking black women to increase her popularity is problematic, and I don't appreciate it. I think that Kim could actually do a lot more to amplify the voices of black women. I would love to see some like senior black women at Skims. There's a lot I would like to see from Kim, and she probably won't ever get there because I don't know that her politics and my politics align. That being said, if you're criticizing me for wearing Skims and like you're shopping at Zara,
That's what I was gonna say.
Right.
Then okay, and then maybe you're like, oh, I don't wear fast fashion. I'm a luxury girl. Okay, Chanel, like Coco Chanel was a Nazi sympathizer. Period.
Correct.
So it's like it's just like once you get into this game. And that's also the thing, right? The more you learn, the more you're like, I literally can't support or buy anything.
My
I
boy
can't listen
bag.
to anything. I can't buy anything. And so that's why I just think it's like this very like, of course we should hold people accountable. Of course we can vote with our wallets. But I just think this idea of like canceling someone for like wearing something or listening to something is like a very slippery slope. And it's very difficult to maintain that consistency.
You're not always going to be like this picture perfect person who can like, I don't listen to anything but gospel, but only gospel by the
Right.
men that aren't sketchy. Like,
Right. I'm
come
like,
on
even
now.
in gospel, sis.
Yeah, I'm like, there's a lot of suspects.
It's like, what are you gonna do?
Okay, I sorry, I need to hit certain questions.
I'm sorry,
because
ma'am.
I'm very
I have
curious.
a burning question.
Okay, go.
Oh, it's burning.
Go.
Kind of.
Go.
Yes.
Okay, I bet it's on. Okay, I want to go all the way back.
To Jack and Joe.
Oh no, I wanted to ask about when you met your husband,
Yes.
and I heard you use the rules.
Oh, that was next, girl.
Look at that.
Yay. Okay, yes.
Tell us
like
about it.
A little birdie. Told us.
speaking of getting like canceled.
Right.
Oh my
'cause that book is
gosh.
very like they say antiquated. I haven't read it, so I don't
Very
know.
antiquated. It definitely like leans on like gender stereotypes.
Yeah.
But it is what I believe in. So I don't know. People may not like
So
it.
Okay,
Good.
speaking your
But the whole idea of the rules is like basically like you never pursue, you're never the first to call, you're never the one to initiate plans. So like if it is they say like after Wednesday, you don't accept dates for the weekend. So like if someone on Thursday is like, oh, are you free Saturday? You say, no, I have plans. But you don't say, no, I have plans, but like Thursday's good or like next weekend's good. Like you just like leave it at that. And then then they're like,
Very
oh,
mysterious.
if I want to get on her schedule, like I better like get my act together and
Right.
like plan a little sooner. So it's like this whole idea of like, and this is like a very problematic analogy, but I'll just share it here on the podcast because I feel like this is a safe space. The analogy that they give in the book is like men, and again,
Training.
this is like
Right,
hetero,
it sounds like grooming.
this is like heteronormative gender stereotypes.
Yeah.
I'm very cognizant of this, but they're saying like they take the trope of like men that enjoy hunting, right? That men will spend like all day like out in the wilderness with like their boots on, like hunting for a deer, to kill a deer, and that's like this big triumph when they like kill the deer. If you brought a dead deer to someone's doorstep, they would be like, "What is this?" Even though it's the same deer.
Interesting.
that makes sense to me.
Yeah, so the analogy is basically like, don't rob the person of the thrill and like fun of pursuing you, and that by making yourself too available, you sort of like remove that. I also think it's like if you don't like someone, you don't like just do the rules to do the rules,
Right.
And like you don't like it's not like you alter your personality, but I think it's this idea that like when we're together and we're in person, I'm going to be affectionate, we're going to have fun, and then when we're not together, goodbye. Like there's no like
Pursue me.
texting, there's no like, hey, I miss you, I'm thinking about you. It's like let them reach out to you. Like I don't believe in like the texting every day. I believe in the like if you want to spend time with me, then like let's make a plan, or you make a plan for us to be together in person. And
If
yeah.
you are watching this, you see my jaw dropping, my eyes bulging out. I have a couple questions on this.
Yes.
My first is this takes a lot of discipline, I would
Yes,
imagine.
yes.
Because like I'm kind of like freshly dating someone and I'm like, I want to be around you all the time.
Oh, but you have, well, so one, I think it weeds out people that aren't like serious. And the person you're dating probably wants to be with you all the time as well. So if they feel that way, then they're going to reach out continually to like make that time together.
But then do you feel like in this day and age, people don't want to come off too strong because like there is this kind of like narrative around like being a simp or whatever you want to call
But
it.
that's why when you're physically together, you make it crystal clear that like you're into it. There's no like coldness when you're physically together. It's like I love seeing you, I love hanging out with you, I can't wait to see you again. That all happens when you're like physically together. But then when you're like not physically together, you don't need to like do the most.
And then my second question is, does this then translate to kind of like traditional roles in the relationship being like the guy pays, the guy has to
yeah.
like uphold certain quote unquote chivalrous standards. Chivalrous standards.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. I'll ask you guys a question. How do you feel about women proposing?
Hell no. Could not be me.
Not for me. But
Shada, you a lie. You're not
others.
proposing to nobody.
No. I'm not, but I'm not like, I'm so torn about this, right? Because I feel like, no, but like, why not?
Because for me, it's just like, like you want, it's in a man's nature. Like they have to want you more. Like it should always be that the guy loves you a little bit more, I think.
See, yeah, that I don't agree with, and I think
Sorry,
that's
babe.
that's my challenge. It's like I feel like it's ingrained in my mind to believe that that's what it should be, but there's also this part of me that's like, but why?
Yeah, so a lot of this is conditioning, which is why I acknowledge that this is like anti-feminist at its core. Like
Right.
everything about the rules is like leaning on these like age-old stereotypes about how gender should interact with each other. That being said, I personally think I would not be the one to propose because I think that it's a very serious decision.
Yeah.
And I think men's maturity levels are different.
Yes.
And their like willingness to take on that responsibility to say this is someone I want to spend the rest of my life with, that it takes them like a longer to get there than it takes for a woman.
That I could totally
So it's
get.
like just let them get there on their own.
That's interesting.
Okay,
I
my
don't even
last
think it's all social conditioning. I think it's partially socially conditioning. Sorry. But I also do think some of it's natural.
Yeah, but I feel like if you lived in a world where you did see women proposing and it was kind of like this mutual thing, it wouldn't necessarily be so taboo, but we just don't really see it.
My mind the whole time would be like, oh, he didn't actually want this. I forced it.
No, well, I think that there always has to be a conversation first. Like even if the proposal
No matter what,
comes as a
yes.
surprise,
Right.
Yes.
so it doesn't feel like you
have to
just
know I'm into
decided
it.
that I'm about to be your wife and
You now my
yeah,
wife.
Yeah,
exactly
that's-
right.
yeah,
It's like
that's-
not on some stuff like that, which I think it maybe traditionally had been.
Yeah, no, you should have a
Act of
conversation
proposal,
before you
marriage
get in
seems
on
like
it.
they made the choice.
Yeah.
But this makes me think of something we've been talking about in the group chat a lot. If you're living with someone, a man, pre-marriage, who should pay the rent?
Okay. Again, I think I'm very abnormal in that my husband and I did not live together until we were engaged because I was living in London, he was living in New York. So it was this thing where it's like, if you're gonna move to a different country and change your job, I'm not doing that for like a boyfriend.
Right.
That's
You
fair.
know?
But then did he have to pay the rent?
Well, we were engaged, so I moved into his place. So yeah, like he continued to pay the rent. It was his, like I moved into
But there
his
was
place.
no like, we're gonna split the rent.
She moved into his place.
No.
Been paying
'cause-
rent.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just the new,
Now
Did
you have
take
an
on
addition.
like any bills?
Okay, that's fair.
no.
Love to hear it.
We've been talking about this a lot. Okay, my
Okay, so what do you guys think?
I am
Okay,
so
by the
torn
way,
by this.
take on bills. Like I would buy groceries for the house, and
Right,
like,
you're still
you know,
adding.
I would still like, oh, let my treat for dinner. Like it's not this thing where it's like I'm never going to
Yeah.
open my wallet. Like,
Right.
Right.
but not in any major
The
way.
rent
I was also
conversation is
11 years
complicated.
younger, so yeah.
Yeah,
continue.
the rent conversation is complicated. It's depending on like where your finances are. This is a little bit different from the rent, but okay, the guy I'm seeing, he consistently has been taking me out to dinner, and we kind of were all drunkenly hanging out together, and I was like, I'm gonna take you out to dinner. And he was like, wow, like that meant so much
You
to
should
him.
do that.
And it was like,
cute.
but I literally had to talk to my friend about it. Like, when did you start like paying? Is this something you consistently do, or is it like a special moment? Because like, I feel like for him as the man, he wants to say, I want to take you out.
I think it's really sweet to do it like when you're dating someone, just to be like, babe, I've got it. Or even just like to plan the whole night. Like I'm
Right.
gonna pick the restaurant.
Right.
I'm gonna like pick you up in the Uber. The night's all on me. That's cute.
But
It
if
feels special.
you
Yeah.
go to dinner, like, and they're consistently paying, does it then become one day like, now we are splitting the dinner?
I was talking to one of my friends about this, and he was just like, you know, it's like you fall into like a routine with each other. So like you get the dinner, or like I get the dinner, and then maybe if we go out someplace after we go to the movies, she just gets the tickets like very casually.
Yeah.
There's a difference
It
between
kinda
$100 dinner and your $30 movie tickets.
But it kind of doesn't feel that way if you're like in a long-term relationship. I feel like.
Yeah.
But also, okay, I have another question. What about dating a guy that makes less money than you?
Right.
So I believe in that scenario, that person should take you to dates within, we're speaking about a heteronormative relationship, his means.
Okay.
So it could be guy or girl. Whoever's taking you out, if they aren't making a lot of money, like Central Park is beautiful. Like I think we would, if someone showed up with like a blanket and like a thoughtful, like within their budget, like cheese and like, I don't know, basket of grapes that's not that expensive, like we would be like, that's really sweet and
Yeah,
thoughtful.
it's thoughtful.
I don't think most people aren't that materialistic. I think what we care about is like thoughtfulness.
Yes.
I think the
The plan.
It's free to go to most museums in New York. Okay, let's go to this show. Then we're gonna go walk do a walk down the High Line, watch sunset. Like, that's cute.
Yeah.
It's just about the thought, I think. It's not like, oh, let me take you to Nobu and where I've taken every other girl I've brought.
Yeah, no.
Does Nobu have special meaning for you?
So my friend,
Yeah, that was my big birthday where I couldn't smile. It was like,
You'll have to
should I
listen to
tell
the-
it?
to
Yeah,
the
I'll
Naked
tell you. I'll
Beauty.
tell you at dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
my friend and I talked about this. She makes about 3 times what her boyfriend makes.
Okay.
Wow.
And like we
Good for
both
her.
talked about like making a decent amount of money, and she's getting her boyfriend all these gifts for his birthday. She gets him like these off-white or like these like really hard to find sneakers.
Yeah.
She wants to take him to Philippe Chow. She wants to do
Cute.
like all these things with him, and he literally was like, no, like I want you to sell the sneakers. I don't like want all these things.
Because he
from
can't
you.
match it.
And I don't. Maybe that might
not
have been like what it
like
was.
feeling spoiled.
But I think he was just like, I don't do these things for myself. So
Right.
like you don't need to do them for me. And we were joking because she was like, I got the rich bitch gifts. And I was like, yeah, because I'm the same way. Like when it's my guy's birthday, I want to get him like all this stuff. But he just wanted to have like these experiences with her. And she was like, he very much lives within his means.
Yeah.
So like even though we go out to dinner often, like she's like, I'm over here buying Prada bags and shoes. Whereas like he is budgeting and a part of his budget is taking me out to dinner.
That's really
good.
sweet.
And I was like,
Guy.
oh, a concept, a budget.
Yeah, just a budget. Okay, we have to wrap up, and I need to ask a few more questions. So we're moving on from the rules.
Yes,
Yeah.
sorry.
But
Hot
maybe we
topic.
could have a book club. Okay, last thing I want to say because we have to wrap up. But Akon was recently talking about the death of Michael K. Williams, who played Omar in The Wire. He
love
played
him.
Montrose. Love him. R.I.P. Such an incredible actor. He played Montrose in Lovecraft Country. Anyways, Akon said he isn't surprised because, quote, rich and famous people struggle more than poor people, end of quote. And then he like recited more money, more problems. You mentioned earlier the Jack and Jill thing. I have been like debating this in my own weird head all day of like this idea of like the black bourgeoisie kind of being so out of touch. Like, how dare you say something like that?
Yeah.
How do you all feel about that comment?
I find that highly offensive. I think about the like pyramid of needs. When you don't have your basic needs met, food and shelter, I think life is much harder. So yes, of course, you can be depressed in a mansion, but I think your life is infinitely harder if you don't have food security and a home. So I don't quite know why he said that.
Yeah. Weird.
I don't love the statement. I would love more context because I do struggle with this conversation around like,
Black people with money.
no, the quote unquote like struggle Olympics. Like, I use that term loosely, right? Because like you can't equate someone who has like tons and tons of money with someone who literally, to your point, Brooke, like food insecurity, housing insecurity.
Right.
However, I don't particularly like when people try to say like, well, you grew up like with 2 parents, but like you didn't have money, but then I had one parent and I did have money, but you don't know what it's not like to not have a dad. It's like, I don't know, like everyone has a different, like, or you grew up and you were queer, but I grew up and I'm black, and like, what's worse, being white and queer or black, whatever. I literally don't know. Like, we can do this whole scale thing, but like, I feel like it's so hard to say. So I think he's kind of trying to give like this context around the fact that like, just because you have money doesn't mean you necessarily have happiness. He probably has a lot of trauma. I don't know what his childhood was like, but knowing he's from Flatbush, from Brooklyn,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Knowing where he comes from, I'm assuming it wasn't necessarily like white picket fence experience. Again, an assumption, you could come from Flatbush and actually have a white picket fence. But a lot of that trauma might be brought into his adulthood, and money does not fix that. So I think that could be maybe what he's alluding to, but just needed to use the 150 characters much better.
Yeah, he was stopped by TMZ. It just made me think about like being out of touch, like being because you know Akon's like building like his own city or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has a lot of money, being like so out of touch. And you come from this continent where, I mean, obviously it's all over the world, but like there is a lot of poverty.
Right.
And you're saying that there's poverty that like I can't even imagine living through, and you're making those kinds of comments. Of course, I'm not saying cancel him. I'm literally just for the sake of having a conversation, like that statement was so jarring to me.
I think that's the interesting part is to like did he say famous as well?
It was rich and famous people struggle more than the poor.
Oh God, the end is the thing that had me fucked up.
Struggle
more than the poor.
It's just
How about just saying they struggle as well?
I was ready to say okay, yeah, because I think fame has to be very fucking weird.
Yeah. Yes.
Very confusing, losing your sense of like reality, all of that stuff. So I recognize that, but yeah, no, that's a no.
That's a no.
Well, Brooke, shout out to Dave for not killing us, but
Yes, sorry. Thank you.
We are well over the time, but literally I have so many more questions. I could ask you questions all day long. Please come back. You're welcome literally anytime.
Oh, this was so fun.
Yeah. So thank you for joining the group chat.
Of course. So happy to be here. Thank you, guys.
Oh, wait. Before you leave, where can people find you? And is there any tea you want to spill? Any secrets? Anything you have coming up?
No, I'm celebrating 5 years of Naked Beauty. I can't believe it. So definitely listen to Naked Beauty. New episodes every Monday, wherever you listen to podcasts. And I have a beauty account, Naked Beauty Planet, which is where I post all my beauty stuff. And then if you want to like follow my personal account and see like pictures of my baby and stuff, that's Brooke DeVard. So this was so much fun. I really appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Brooke.
Hey, ladies. This week's What Would You Do? I really wanted to have Brooke on, but we were like going over because this would have been perfect for her. This is a story that I heard from someone. Allegedly, a stylist, a shampoo girl, had a very bad odor coming from her vaginal area. And every time she was like washing people's hair, they were complaining like, what's going on? She was ultimately let go from work because like it just wasn't stopping.
Wait, let go, not put on like leave? Maybe she just needed some antibiotics?
Oh, there was allegedly a whole conversation about like, you should go get this checked out like multiple times and it still wasn't working. Clients were saying they weren't going to come back.
Clients were saying they weren't going to come back?
Yes.
I know.
So I'm like, what would you do in that situation? Like, if you had to have this conversation with someone to be like, yo, like, imagine
if you were
like
their boss,
coworker or something like, or yeah, it's your boss. Like, how do you tell someone like that they have this odor, whether it's like a vaginal odor, any odor? I mean, a vaginal odor is literally usually like, girl, you need to go to the GYN.
Get checked, yeah.
If it was underarm must, that'd be easier. Like, oh, girl. I know it's hot outside. It can be hard. You should try this. I've been trying to do this natural deodorant thing, but I've been musty some days. You know, I found this really good clinical strength thing. You should try it. Or you can tell them like they're musty in like a funny way. It always has to be preceded by a girl. You're a little
like
musty
that's always
today.
how you say you want to give someone advice. Like, girl, your man is cheating on you.
Girl.
Right. It's not a joke. Damn. Not the must.
But the must from below.
And like, it's
Then she could
affecting
be
your
sick.
business. That's
Yeah,
the
it's
thing.
affecting your business is the thing. And it must be a very intense smell because right now we're in COVID. People are wearing masks.
Exactly. That's what I was wondering.
Oh no, this was pre-COVID.
Oh, it's pre-COVID. Okay.
Even still, there's so much going on when you're getting your hair washed.
That's really sad because like,
It's sad,
yeah, that's a lot because if you think about it, usually when I'm getting my hair washed, I smell the shampoo.
Exactly.
There's so many
right?
other
Your
good
head's
scents
all
happening.
the way back. There's
Your
water.
head is up, right. It's not like it's not like you're getting the back of your hair braided and your head isn't your coochie.
That was my experience as a kid. This woman used to put my head between her legs. Like she'd be sitting on the couch and she'd put my head down and braid the back of my head. And my parents told me this recently that I used to always say, it smells bad between her legs every single time she braided my hair. Every time.
Oh my God,
I still remember it too, actually. It was not good.
Okay, this is not funny because I kind of feel bad even laughing, but like I get it. It is kind of funny. There's a video with this little boy and his grandma's braiding his hair and he's like, "Grandma, you stink."
No.
Yeah, it's really cute. And she's just telling the truth, but
Here's where I'm confused though, because I will not lie. I've had BV. I've had it a few times. It's not a good smell, and like you smell yourself. I think sooner than anyone smell, or at least I hope sooner than anyone smells you. So I'm just kind of like, how are you out here Like, what's going on? Like, do you not smell it, or you do smell it and you're just like, I don't know what to do about it?
Okay, to give some real advice. Okay. Because this is a very tough one because you're the person's boss, but it's affecting your business. So I think I would just call a meeting with the person and I would say, like, you're really incredible at what you do. We value you here. But we've been getting some complaints and I wanted to bring it to your attention. Not only as your boss, but also as someone who cares about you. It might be necessary to visit the doctor for a smell.
Okay,
that some people have been complaining about. And frankly, I'm a woman too. I've had it too. So it's nothing to be ashamed of, but maybe just check out the doctor. I'm going to give you a week off to kind of deal with it and come back when you're ready.
Thank you, Miss
That's very
Chelsea.
nice,
It's been a
Chelsea.
week. I've gone to the doctor. I come back. It still smells. Now what?
It feels so bad to let somebody go for that, you know?
Yeah.
It feels fucked up. Did they really go to the doctor?
Usually the smell would go away in like
Right.
maybe like 2 days after getting like a medication.
I'm wondering if it's another type of hygiene issue. Oh, I don't know. This is a
Or
very
maybe-
awkward one. Yeah.
Maybe they need to put in some AC because sometimes hair salons are very hot with all the blow dryers.
Okay. Maybe.
So maybe it's not like an infection. Maybe it's just like must.
Maybe they just get a uniform for everyone with like a very nice loose pant. Dead ass.
Or a skirt.
Yeah. Maybe not
Cotton.
a skirt, but like a pant that's not giving a lot of pressure on the area. Maybe.
Listen, ladies, this is good. This might be helping someone.
Try the first step and then write back
Yes.
to us if there is, more things needed. How about that?
No one wrote this. Someone told me this story.
Oh,
And in the story, what did the person do?
yeah.
I told you they let the person ended ultimately got let go.
That's so sad.
Yeah.
Can the person
Fucked up.
sue? I wonder.
I feel like they could.
I feel like you
Maybe.
can't let someone go for being stinky. Actually, maybe
Unless they
you
have like a
could.
hygiene policy. which
Yeah,
is,
because like a lot of times like you have to like be presentable. Like you can't come to work with dirty clothes, with
Right.
like stains all over your clothes.
clean
and stuff.
nails and shit like that. But
Mm.
what you put in there something about odor.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'm not laughing
It's
at
so
this
fucked up.
this
I'm
person.
so sorry.
I'm laughing at Glenn. Well, I wanted to present that to you because when story was presented to me, they literally asked me, what would you have done? And I was like, girl, I don't know what I would have done.
They could also, as much as I told the woman that my parents that woman I didn't like the way it smelled, I still kept getting my hair done by her. I feel like people still gonna come.
Your parents subjected you.
They probably thought I was just being rude. I don't know. But like, I can't believe people stopped going for that. I mean, maybe it was that bad. I don't know. I'm like,
I mean, if it's that
how long
bad,
do I have to
I'm
sit
not
at the sink?
enduring that for a full wash. If
Yeah.
it's
No.
that bad every time.
Yeah,
And I
that's
gotta
true.
pay?
Yeah, that's why.
No.
That's so I can understand not coming back as a client, but damn, that sucks.
Yikes.
Well,
Well,
luck to
Oh,
the
God.
well, yeah. If anyone else has a situation where they'd like to know what would we do, that example was pretty bad. I feel like we didn't actually give any good advice, but
'cause what the
That's a
fuck you
hard
gonna
one.
do?
that's a tough one. But email us at hello@blackgirlstexting or DM us at blackgirlstexting on Instagram, or you can message us on our YouTube called Black Girls Texting. We also
I
have,
don't know if you can message on YouTube, but that was
Leave us a
good.
comment.
leave us a comment. And patrons, we love you guys too.
Oh, we love our patrons.
But yeah, that's a tough one, but damn.
Yeah.
Chelsea's still stumped. Well,
It's
Yeah,
very hard.
I just feel very bad for stuff, especially as it relates to the vagina. I feel like women spend their whole lives trying to like make the
Sensitive.
vagina not have a smell. And
Yeah.
vaginas have a smell. It shouldn't be a rank smell. It shouldn't be a
Mhm.
bad smell, but like it's a vagina. It's not,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
It's a tricky area.
It's a tricky
The
area.
whole time I was thinking in my head, she got to stop fucking that man raw because he's busting at her, fucking up her pH.
Could be the
Maybe
reason.
maybe gift her some boric acid suppositories.
Yes. But
again, I don't think if it's consistent like that, even from after going to the doctor, I don't think it's like the inner part of the vagina. I think it's the outside part is musty.
well, okay, this is yes. Assuming it's BV, stop fucking that man raw and have him nut in you. Because every time he's gonna fuck your shit up. I'm telling you this from experience.
Take probiotics.
Probiotics, yes, those are very helpful. Lactobacillus. That's a good one.
I don't
But
know. Maybe
yeah,
no
girl.
more sugary drinks.
Oh my gosh. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Pray for sis.
Good luck, sis.
Bye.
Damn.